The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise for the presentation of colors. Color Guard, parade the colors. I now ask everyone present to join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Senior Command Chaplain Colonel James Key from the 10th Mountain Division will deliver today's invocation.
Let us all pause for a word of prayer as we close our eyes and bow our head. Let us pray. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Almighty God, we pause on this day and ask that you bless today's Senate session. Please walk with our senators and give them vision and courage as they ponder decisions affecting the lives of men and women of this great state. Give them discerning hearts, bold faith, and wise minds. Teach them and all of us not just what is good, but what is best. Help us to recognize that you are the source of all of our accomplishments and blessings, and that your eye is on the sparrow, and you watch over all of us. Remind us on this day that despite differences of political affiliation, demographic, gender, or ethnicity, we are always at our best when we stand together as one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the prayer we submit to you right now, at this hour, on this day. Please receive it, for it is in your mighty, liberating, sustaining, and holy name we pray. And we all say together, amen and amen.
Color Guard, retire the colors.
Right, face, forward, one.
It is my honor to introduce Deputy Commander Colonel Matt Brayman of the 10th Mountain Division to deliver opening remarks. Deputy Commander.
Good afternoon. My name is Colonel Matt Brayman. I'm the Deputy Commander of the 10th Mountain Division, and I have arguably the best job in the Army. I'm here with some great friends of us from the division, but on behalf of Major General Greg Anderson, the commander of the 10th Mountain Division, who's currently deployed in MK Air Base in Romania, I brought with us a few great folks, and he passes his regrets, and he said he'll be here next year. But with me today is the most powerful man in the 10th Mountain Division, and that is our Command Sergeant Major Nima Mobar. We've got with us our mayor, our city manager, our garrison commander, Colonel Jim Zucchino. We've got our great chaplain who just had the opening prayer from, Chaplain Key. And if you look up to my right, to your left, up there are 14 service members from the division, all who were born and raised here in the state of New York. And so on behalf of all of us, it's our honor to be here today. And so I would like to thank the leadership for allowing us to be here for celebrating 10th Mountain Day. And so Senator Stuart Cousins, Senator Rob Ort, thank you for allowing us to be here today. And sir, thank you for your service to the Army. Also to Senator Scarcella Spanton, your work for veterans is not unnoticed by us, and we appreciate all the things you do for our veterans and their families. And as a former Army spouse, thank you for your service, as well as the service of your husband. And finally, our senator from back home in Watertown, New York, Senator Walczak, thank you for hosting us here today, and your presence at Fort Drum in support of all of our great soldiers doesn't go unnoticed as well, and thank you for hosting us today. And so, this is my favorite part I get to do, and every Wednesday at Fort Drum, the Sergeant Major and I get to welcome every new soldier into the 10th Mountain Division. And we get to stand up there and tell them about the history of the organization, the importance it has, and the great things it's done and will do in the future. And so for those who don't know, the 10th Mountain Division was formed in July 15th, 1943, but not in New York, which is weird because the 10th Mountain is here now. But actually, the roots of the division do go back to the state of New York. So in early 1940, the Army decided they needed to evaluate what its capabilities were in cold weather and alpine capability. And they quickly found that the Army had none. And so with the help of an entrepreneur who was then the head of what was to become the National Ski Patrol, Charles Minnie Dole, he went to the president and said, we got to have a capability. We've seen what the Norwegians can do. We've seen what the Finnish soldiers can do. We need that capability in the United States Army. And so the division was formed and born in Camp Hale, Colorado. And they went on to do famous things in the war, in the Italian campaign, and the war was complete. They came home and disbanded the organization. In 1985, the United States Army said, we need a light division, somebody that's capable of deploying worldwide, short notice. And they decided to reactivate the 10th Mountain Division and to do it where the division was really born in concept at Fort Drum, New York. And so since then, the division has remained the most deployed division in the Army. It began with its service in Desert Storm, went on to Haiti, Somalia, Bosnia. And when the unprecedented attacks occurred on 9/11, the 10th Mountain Division was the first division deployed to Afghanistan to defend this nation. And in somewhat coincidence, at the end of our chapter in Afghanistan, it was 10th Mountain Division soldiers that closed the doors. In fact, with us today is my aide-de-camp, First Lieutenant Ali Rios. She was one of the remaining last members of the division to leave Afghanistan just a little over 2 years from today. And today, as we speak, no good deed goes unpunished. The nation has relied on this division to do great things. And today, our division headquarters is deployed in Romania, doing the Assure, Deter, and Assist mission with our NATO partners and allies in Romania, Hungary, and throughout the Balkans. Our division tactical headquarters is deployed to Poland, doing support for the Security Assistance Group Ukraine, ensuring the timely delivery of material aid to the Ukrainian army and conducting training with those soldiers so they can defeat the Russians. And finally, we have soldiers in Finland back doing the mission that this division was designed to do in its inception of becoming Alpine warriors. And they're doing that today with our 2nd Battalion, 22nd Infantry Regiment. Some of you may know in December, our 1st Brigade Combat Team returned as the only forward deployed combat unit in the United States Army, and they returned from Kuwait, Syria, and Iraq. And shortly, this summer, our 2nd Brigade Combat Team will deploy in that same mission, again, being the only deployed unit in the Army in a combat area. Our Aviation Brigade will follow in about a year from now to do support that same mission. But we know every day at Fort Drum, we stand ready with the 18,000 soldiers stationed there to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and we've done it very well since 1943, and we'll continue to do so. So I'd like to, invite all of you up to Fort Drum. We'll host any of you at any point. It's a great place to serve. It's a great place for our families to raise families, and it's a great place to train. And so please come up and visit us there. And in fact, on June 21st, we host what we call Mountain Fest, which is our annual remembrance of the division's history and a celebration of the installation itself. So come up to Mountain Fest. We're going to salute the nation. But at any point, please come up and see our soldiers. Throughout our visit, we've also been asked, what can you do for us? Well, if you don't know, the Army is hiring. We're looking for great soldiers. I'm looking for my replacement. I've been doing this for 28 years. I'm looking for the next me. Invite us to your communities. We will come to you in New York. We'll demonstrate the capabilities of what our soldiers can do, the great skills that they've acquired, and the over 100 skill sets that we recruit for. Bring us to them. We want to meet your folks and meet the community. So in closing, because I know you have lots of important business to do, I want to talk about one thing we do at Fort Drum. As we walk around the installation, it's customary for the junior, if a junior member of the division sees one of his superior officers, he comes to a crisp attention and provides a salute and says the words, "Climb to glory." And the senior's response back to that individual is, "To the top." And that climb to glory to the top is in honor of our forefathers that started the mission of the 10th Mountain in 1943, and we continue that climb today. So I say to all of you today, thanks for hosting us. Climb to glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Commander Colonel Bremen. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Monday, May 29, 2023, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Sunday, May 28, 2023 was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions. Messages from the Assembly. The Secretary will read.
Senator Harkin moves to discharge from the Committee on Energy and Telecommunications Assembly Bill number 343A, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 2988A, third reading count of 425. Senator Clear moves to discharge from the Committee on Investigation and Government Operations Assembly Bill number 1371A, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 208A, third reading count of 430. Senator Sander moves to discharge from the Committee on Health Assembly Bill number 2609A, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 1839A, third reading count of 520. Senator Lanza moves to discharge from the Committee on Environmental Conservation Assembly Bill number 6857, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 4829, third reading count of 612. Senator Mayer moves to discharge from the Committee on Higher Education Assembly Bill number 5806, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5229, third reading count of 682. Senator Harkin moves to discharge from the Committee on Investigation and Government Operations Assembly Bill number 5742A, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 6062A, third reading count of 703. Senator Harkin moves to discharge from the Committee on Transportation Assembly Bill number 5604, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5397, third reading count of 730. Senator Kavanaugh moves to discharge from the Committee on Codes Assembly Bill number 3057, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5826, third reading count of 744. Senator Webb moves to discharge from the Committee on Commerce, Economic Development, and Small Business Assembly Bill number 4264, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 6213, third reading count of 1003. Senator Harkin moves to discharge from the Committee on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Assembly Bill number 5074, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5332, third reading count of 1041. Senator Gianaris moves to discharge from the Committee on Health Assembly Bill number 2147, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 149, third reading count of 1044. Senator Griffo moves to discharge from the Committee on Civil Service and Pensions Assembly Bill number 5862, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 3513, third reading count of 1057. Senator Bailey moves to discharge from the Committee on Judiciary Assembly Bill number 152, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 939, third reading count of 1071. Senator Harkin moves to discharge from the Committee on Local Government Assembly Bill number 6101, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5886, third reading count of 1107. Senator Stuart Cousins moves to discharge from the Committee on Housing, Construction, and Community Development Assembly Bill number 6291A, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 264A, third reading count of 197. Senator Palumbo moves to discharge from the Committee on Investigation and Government Operations Assembly Bill number 6919, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 6721, third reading count of 973. Senator Mannion moves to discharge from the Committee on Environmental Conservation Assembly Bill number 6822, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 6125, third reading count of 1148. Senator Rollison moves to discharge from the Committee on Rules Assembly Bill number 7429, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 5376, third reading count of 1101. Senator Thomas moves to discharge from the Committee on Environmental Conservation Assembly Bill number 7433, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 7055, third reading count of 1163. Senator Brooke moves to discharge from the Committee on Finance. Assembly Bill number 1510 is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 1861, third reading calendar 832.
So ordered. Messages from the Governor. Report to standing committees. Report to select committees. Communications and reports from state officers. Motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, can we begin with previously adopted Resolution 868 by Senator Scarcella Spanton? Read that resolution's title and recognize Leader Stuart Cousins on that resolution.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 868 by Senator Scarcella Spanton, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim May 30th, 2023 as 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day in the state of New York.
Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins on the resolution.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. And again, I want to really extend my gratitude to Fort Drum for always coming and representing. To the chaplain, thank you for your prayers. Thank you for reminding us that his eye's on the sparrow. You can come back anytime. And for Colonel Bremen, I was talking to Senator Breslin here, and he was saying, what enthusiasm, it's so true. We were all going to sign up, but not right now. Maybe after session. But, you know, it was just so important to hear the history and, of course, be reminded of the incredible role that Fort Drum plays, not only in terms of our national security, but international as well. And I want to thank you for bringing your wonderful senior leadership. I want to thank the Color Guard, the enlisted personnel, including our native-born, I hear there's 15 native-born New Yorkers, and just to let you know again that we are honored by your presence. The other thing that, since you did such a great job of the history, we wanted to make sure that everyone understands the significance of Fort Drum as captured in your mission statement, which has expanded a great deal. To the top, we'll always remember that, but I understand the mission statement is Team Drum generates, rapidly deploys, and sustains ready forces to meet national security requirements while caring for soldiers, families, and civilians. That's an amazing statement, and that's what you embody. And beyond your contributions to protecting New Yorkers and Americans abroad, Fort Drum goes above and beyond in serving the local community. Recent reports highlight your direct economic impact of approximately $1.6 billion in 2022 in Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties, marking a 4.6% increase from the previous year. It also supports 25,000 jobs in the area. So you obviously in Fort Drum play a vital role in securing federal funding for local schools and communities, as well as providing support to military veterans and survivors. But I know, Senator Walczyk, you've made it very clear that this is an important part of your district, and I thank you for what you're doing, and I know that you are doing it with the same pride that your predecessor, Senator Patty Ritchie, did. I think we began Fort Drum Day in 2012. And of course, I want to thank my own Senator Jessica Scarcella Spanton, who's chair of the Senate's Veterans, Homeland, and Security and Military Affairs Committee, for your dedication and your leadership and continued support for veterans and military families all over. Certainly, as the Majority Leader, I want to convey New York's immense pride in having you as part of our great state, and our unwavering commitment is there to support you. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making our Fort Drum Day one of the highlights of our session. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Scarcella Spanton on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to our Majority Leader for that wonderful introduction and for having this day be a part of our history here in the State Senate. I'd like to thank my co-sponsor on the resolution, Senator Walczyk, and all of my colleagues in the Senate for your support on passing this resolution to proclaim May 30th as 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day in the state of New York. I'd like to recognize the senior leadership who's here today, especially Deputy Commander Colonel Matt Brayman for your wonderful, wonderful remarks. You really jazzed up the Senate this afternoon, and we appreciate that. For Colonel James Key for the wonderful prayer that we all could use today. Command Sergeant Major Nima Mobar, and of course, Colonel James Aquino, the garrison commander. Fort Drum is renamed in honor of Lieutenant General Hugh Drum, a decorated national hero and former commander of 1st Army. But Fort Drum Day is about more than honoring a place of great historical significance. It also honors the brave men and women of Fort Drum today, who continue to demonstrate commitment and valor in the name of protecting our freedoms, which also allows me to thank, and I have a special place in my heart for our enlisted members. My husband was enlisted in the Army. He left as a specialist. He was in Fort Carson in the infantry division. So I just want to thank you all for being here today. I was joking with them earlier that I know it was a long 4-day weekend, so I do think that they got out of PT this morning. So I hope that's a good surprise today. The soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division have exemplified honor, distinction, and immense sacrifice in service to our nation. It has been instrumental in numerous missions worldwide, advising and assisting operations across the globe. These soldiers have fiercely defended our nation and protected our freedoms, often at great personal cost. Fort Drum has been the proud home of the renowned 10th Mountain Division for over 3 decades, a division that has consistently proven itself as one of the most deployed in the United States Army. In addition to its vital role in national defense, Fort Drum stands as the largest employer in northern New York and is our state's largest single-site employer. They are our neighbors, co-workers, classmates, friends, and fellow New Yorkers. As a member of a military family myself, I know how hard it is firsthand when your family member deploys. The community that Fort Drum has created is there for each other to support one another through ups and downs, and that's what makes it so special. It is my true honor to welcome you all here today, and I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Ort on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my colleague, Majority Leader Senator Stewart Cousins, Senator Scarcella Stanton for bringing the resolution forward, and of course, Senator Walczak for continuing to make sure that this day happens here in Albany. As the Majority Leader said, this has gone on since 2012. And, you know, we've all heard about, we know that this is the most deployed unit, period, in the U.S. Army. Obviously, since 9/11, they have been the most deployed unit in the United States military. We know the impact, and I'm sure we're going to hear about the impact in the North Country and to the surrounding communities. And that's not uncommon, but it's very special to have a unit this storied that calls New York home, because Fort Drum doesn't really exist without the 10th Mountain Division. Fort Drum is simply, it's a federal installation, but without that unit there, operating out of Fort Drum, doing its global mission that you heard, Fort Drum doesn't exist, and the impact on New York State and the North Country doesn't happen. But I think it's important to know 2 things for the folks in this room. In the United States military, everybody wears a patch on their arm. And that's a unit that you are serving in, and in some cases you wear a patch of a unit that you have served with in combat. You may not be with that unit currently, but you served in combat with that unit. The 10th Mountain is a unit that is known throughout the U.S. Army. It is a storied unit. You don't have to explain what it is. There are some patches, there are many units in the U.S. Army that if you've never served in that division or never served in that battalion, maybe you don't know that unit patch. But everybody knows the 10th Mountain patch. And there is no further explanation that is needed when you see it. And we should be very proud to have that storied unit call New York home. And then lastly, I'll just say, We just observed Memorial Day. A lot of you spent time at parades and at ceremonies. 328 by my last count. It may be more now, but we'll just say well over 300 soldiers since 9/11 have lost their lives serving with the 10th Mountain. And when you think about most deployed unit, when you think about the economic opportunity to the North Country, when you think about all these things that are great and should be celebrated, there's a price that comes with. There's a price to being the most deployed unit in the United States military, and that price is paid in blood, and that is the price of our freedom and our way of life here in New York and across the country. And so to all of you who are here today, and to your brothers and sisters in arms who are not here today, I say thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for being here today. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Walczyk on the resolution.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Welcome to the 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day. And I want to say to you, Majority Leader, thank you so much for making today possible. Also to the Secretary of the Senate, to Allie, for all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into a day like today. We appreciate it. And you mentioned, Majority Leader, you mentioned my predecessor, Senator Patty Ritchie, who started this thing up. I was actually on her staff in 2012 when we started the very first 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day here in the Senate chamber. And this has been a time-honored tradition that I am so proud to carry the torch on, alongside an excellent selection that you made, if I might add, for your Veterans and Military Affairs Chair, and Jessica Scarcella-Spanton. She's been great to work with on 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day and veterans issues in general. And Leader Ort, thank you so much for your support of today and of veterans. Please pass back from all of us to General Anderson, gentlemen. Give him our best. Major General Anderson is deployed forward in Europe right now. He would have been up where the President of the Senate is today, delivering those remarks himself if he was stateside, but it's a perfect example, Leader Ort, as you pointed out, of the time-honored tradition, the storied legacy of the 10th Mountain Division. They have a saying, and it is so true, that the sun never sets on the 10th Mountain Division patch, because they are forward in all kinds of places around the globe, training, fighting, keeping us safe. You know, as host of the 10th Mountain Division, I think of Fort Drum, the economic impact of, being a military community and supporting their mission. But as United States citizens, you should know that that recognizable patch that the leader mentioned of crossed bayonets with a mountain tab over it is something that we should all be very proud as New Yorkers to be the host. To Colonel Brayman, thank you so much for your remarks. And if you didn't hear the message from him, I'll repeat it once again. Recruit, recruit, recruit. There's an excellent division here in New York State where young men and women from your districts can continue to call home in New York, and there is a place for them in this United States Army, I promise. To CSM Mobar, thanks for being here today. Again, we'll pass along our best to Major General Anderson, and thank you for all the leadership that you provide. And to Lieutenant Colonel Cleveland, thank you for all the organization today, for our Mayor of Fort Drum, also known on the Army side as a garrison commander, to Jim Zucchino, thank you, sir, for all of the work that you do to mesh our homes and make sure that there's good integration between our community in the North Country and yours. And I do want to, on behalf of the members here, invite some of those guests that were mentioned earlier. So just for your situational awareness, and I'll read off their rank and their last name as well as the town that they're from. And this just represents a small portion. I promise after a 4-day weekend, the commander at Fort Drum didn't send all of New York soldiers down from Fort Drum to sit in the gallery today because they have important work to do. But here's just a splash, just a representation of the types of troops that are at Fort Drum. Sure, They're from nations around the world, gaining their citizenship through our United States Army program. They're from all over the country and happen to be stationed at our beautiful Fort Drum. But there's also New Yorkers like Sergeant First Class Webster from Blossville, like Staff Sergeant McLeod from Brooklyn, like Staff Sergeant Santos from Hobbs, New Windsor, like Staff Sergeant Arzu from Brooklyn, like Sergeant Poole from Brooklyn, and there's a Brooklyn theme here, but all 5 boroughs, I promise, are represented in the 10th Mountain Division, like Sergeant Toussaint from Brooklyn, like Sergeant Krim from Ilion, home of Remington Arms, like Sergeant Doyle from Carthage, like Sergeant DeLuna from Brooklyn, like Specialist Baudot from Center Reach, like Specialist Vasquez from Manhattan, who turns wrenches on a lot of the Army vehicles that keep rolling along, like Specialist Finney from the Bronx, like Private First Class Shackleford from Rocky Point, like PV2 Marvin from Corning in the Finger Lakes, and a special shout out to First Lieutenant Ali Rios from Carthage, New York, who graduated with my brother-in-law, no less. Now, there in the gallery are first-generation Americans and sometimes some long-standing traditions of military service, or colloquially we'll call them military brats. But no matter what their family history or where they're from, they put on the same uniform, and despite what patch they might have for combat or for the unit that they're with, they all wear the United States flag, and it looks backwards when you look at an Army uniform, but there's only one reason for that, and it's because the Army is always charging forward. They all wear our flag, and they all call New York State home. Today, we're also joined by some excellent groups of advocacy, led by Advocate Drug and joined by the Tug Hill Commission, Fort Drum Health Liaison Organization, the Development Authority of the North Country, the Greater Watertown Chamber of Commerce, and the Planning Today for Tomorrow. These are just some of the groups that are impacted by the presence of the largest single-site employer in New York State. As was said about the history, the Army installation located in Jefferson County has a long and incredible history dating back to the War of 1812, where Sackett's Harbor, which was a consequential place for the Navy, no less, became the headquarters for the northern frontier. In the post-war, the United States realized the importance of training troops, which led to the creation of Madison Barracks. And by 1907, firearm technology outgrew that area of the Madison Barracks. The Army looked for a new location, landing on the area in Felts Mills, just north of the Black River. A small tent encampment was born under the name Camp Hughes, which was mentioned earlier by the Majority Leader. Just a year later, President Ulysses Grant's oldest son, Frederick, led a militia of 8,000 men through the Northeast and discovered Pine Plains above Black River to be a vital resource to train troops. Money was allocated to purchase the land, and Pine Camp was born. And in 1951, Pine Camp became Camp Drum, was utilized in the Korean conflicts due to its advantages of tough terrain and climate. And in the Army, it certainly gets a reputation for the climate, because you get every amount of weather you could imagine at Fort Drum. In 1974, a permanent garrison was assigned, and the post was designated Fort Drum. But we know Fort Drum for when the 10th Mountain Division came in 1985 and was officially reactivated in northern New York. Fort Drum now consists of 107,000 acres of well-managed wildlife refuge that soldiers also train in. Mobilization and training of almost 8,000 troops annually. So not just the active duty of the 10th Mountain Division, but the National Guard and the reserves heavily use this area, many of them from areas in your community. It's the largest single-site employer in New York State that was mentioned earlier, and Fort Drum is not just vital to the protection of our country, but it is a huge economic driver for the state of New York, as the majority leader pointed out earlier, $1.6 billion to our economy. Not insignificant whatsoever. So Fort Drum has a motto that was mentioned earlier, and that's climb to glory, and the proper response is to the top. And New York State also has its own motto, and it's written on our seal, Excelsior, meaning ever upward. And I always love to compare the 10th Mountain Division's motto to ours, because I think our 10th Mountain Division goes hand in hand with the motto of New York State. The 10th Mountain Division Light Fighters are the embodiment of our motto of Excelsior, meaning ever upward. The sun never sets on the 10th Mountain Division patch. They train hard, and they are known by the United States Army as the blue-collar division. They are ready to just get after it and get to work with what the Army needs done. They lean forward and they innovate. They remain ready to fight for us on a moment's notice, and all you have to do is watch their deployment cycles to know that they're always doing so. Yesterday, as Minority Leader Ort mentioned, was Memorial Day, and we paused to honor the war dead. Today, the 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum Day, I appreciate the opportunity that we've been given today to pause and honor those who are still climbing to glory. And I would say to you, soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division, keep climbing, Excelsior, and we'll see you at the top. Thank you, Mr. President.
To our guests, I thank you very much for your service and welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was previously adopted on May 2nd. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, Senator Scarcella-Spanton would like to open that resolution for co-sponsorship.
The resolution is open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, I have a series of motions we'll take up at this time. Amendments are offered to the following third reading calendar bills: by Senator Clear, Calendar 203, Senator Hoylman Siegel, Calendar 247, Senator Parker, Calendar 581, Senator Rivera, Calendar 620, Senator Hoylman Siegel, Calendar 645, Senator Skoufis, Calendar 702, Senator Clear, Calendar 711, Senator Liu, Calendar 725, Senator Skoufis, Calendar 800, Senator Kruger, Calendar 1018, Senator Hoylman Siegel, Calendar 1070, Senator Hinchey, Calendar 1112, Senator Breslin, Calendar 1179, Senator Breslin again, Calendar 1180, Senator Kruger, Calendar 656.
The amendments are received and those bills will retain their place in the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
I also wish to call up the following bills which were recalled from the Assembly and are now at the desk. Senate print numbers 1303, 1867, 2175, 2148, 809, 4878, 5186, 3586, 3285, and 454.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 129, Senate Print 1303 by Senator Parker, an act to amend the Public Service Law. Calendar number 248, Senate Print 1867 by Senator Brooke, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Calendar number 258, Senate Print 2175 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the Workers' Compensation Law. Calendar number 287, Senate Print 2148 by Senator Liu, an act to amend the Education Law. Calendar number 323, Senate Print 809 by Senator Serrano, an act to amend the Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Law. Calendar number 419, Senate Print 4878 by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Labor Law. Calendar number 511, Senate Print 5186 by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law. Calendar number 1087, Senate Print 3586 by Senator Fernandez, an act to amend the Veterans Services Law. Calendar number 330, Senate Print 3285 by Senator Thomas, an act to amend the General Business Law. Calendar number 393, Senate Print 454 by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the General Municipal Law.
I move to reconsider the vote by which these bills were passed.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell, Cousins, White, ayes 58.
The bills are restored to their place in the third reading calendar.
The following amendments.
The amendments are received and those bills will retain their place in the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
Please recognize Senator Lanza.
Senator Lanza.
Mr. President, amendments are offered to the following third reading calendar bills. Senator Rollison, calendar number 693. Senator Martins, calendar 1119. Senator Palumbo, calendar 306. Mr. President, I now move that these bills retain their place on third reading calendar.
The amendments are received, and those bills will retain their place in the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
Please recognize Senator Rhodes for an introduction.
Senator Rhodes for the purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator Gianaris, and thank you, Mr. President. Eleanor Powell once gave the famous quote that what we are is God's gift to us, but what we become is our gift back to God. And as many of you know, and I've spoken about it a couple of times, I actually, before I got into government at all, had the opportunity to be the youth minister at St. Pius X Parish in Plainview, serving the Plainview Bethpage community that I've done for the last 10 years. And I'm happy that we have a couple of our youth group alumni that are actually with us here in the chamber today. Now, these kids, one of the things that we always emphasize to them is that we've got a responsibility, and something we all know in our hearts. We've got a responsibility to something greater than ourselves, to try and use the gifts and talents that we've been given to try and make our corner of the world a little bit better for having been here. And the kids that we have with us here today, I can't say kids anymore, they're now young adults that we have with us today, and the kids that are part of our program back at home spend hundreds of hours over the course of their 4-year career in our program, participating in things like Families Feeding Families food drives, delivering meals to homebound seniors as part of Carol's Kitchen, collecting coats for the homeless, delivering toys to orphanages and to shelters. They truly embody, through the work that they do, some of the best that their generation has to offer. And I'm very proud that they're with us here today. And up in the gallery, I have Brendan Von Runnen, who is a Wantagh warrior, who is actually my assistant youth minister and is an analyst for the Nassau County Police Department while he's finishing his master's at St. John's. I have John Dossie, who just completed his freshman year at Boston College. Tyler Dady, who just completed his freshman year at the State University of New York at Binghamton. Ryan Farrell, who just completed his freshman year at the University of Notre Dame. And we all come to this chamber to talk about very important issues, and we all have things that motivate us each day to get up and do the job. And the folks that are here today and the kids that are back home are my reminder of why we come here and why the issues that we debate matter. So, Mr. President, I ask that you please extend our guests the courtesies of the House and welcome them to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Rhodes. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all of the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, at this time, we're going to simultaneously take up the calendar and call an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee in room 332.
There will be an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee in room 332, and the Secretary will read.
Calendar number 154, Senate Print 1066B by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Criminal Procedure Law.
Read the last section.
Section 12, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 154, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Murillo, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Hellman, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzik, and Weber. Ayes 37, ayes 21.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 181, Senate Print 1873A by Senator Webb, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 196, Senate Print 1733A by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the election law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of July.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 196, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzonieri Fitzpatrick, Martinez, Murray, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Tedisco, and Weber. Also Senator Matera, also Senator Ort. Ayes 44, nays 14.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 197, Assembly number 6291A by Assemblymember Burdick, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 249, Senate Print 2124 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the social services law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed. Calendar number 306 is high and will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 318, Senate Print 179 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the civil service law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 320, Senate Print 253A by Senator Serrano, an act to amend the arts and cultural affairs law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 120th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 401, Senate Print 209A by Senator Clear, an act to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 422, Senate Print 5055 by Senator Parker, an act in relation to alternative finance investment bonds.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 422, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzonieri Fitzpatrick, Matera, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Tedisco, Walzik, and Weber. Also Senator Martins. Ayes 45, nays 13.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 425, Assembly number 343A by Assemblymember Burdick, an act to amend the public service law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 425, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Matera, Oberacker, and Ort. Also Senator Walzik. Ayes 54, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 430, Assembly number 1371A by Assemblymember Rosenthal, enactment of the State Technology Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 430, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ort and Walczak. Ayes 56, nays 2.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 435, Senate Print 416 by Senator Thomas, enactment of the Highway Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Senator Rhodes to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. This particular location happens to be inside the 5th Senate District, which I represent. And this is a resolution that is long overdue. Trooper Mulcairinen lost his life in January of 1931. He was killed when he was struck by a vehicle at the intersection of the Southern State Parkway and the Wantagh Parkway. He had just parked. There used to be booths actually located on the parkway themselves at major intersections. He was a motorcycle officer and was actually killed when he parked his motorcycle walking to his booth when he was struck by a motor vehicle. And I'm thrilled that, we got to do a little math here, but 92 years after the fact, we are finally giving this hero the recognition that he deserves. I want to thank my colleagues for voting aye on the resolution. I do the same. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Rhodes to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 435, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport. Ayes 58, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 437, Senate Print 2515B by Senator Ramos, enactment of the Vehicle and Traffic Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect on the 90th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 441, Senate Print 4262A by Senator Webb, enactment of the Highway Law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 465, Senate Print 1901A by Senator Stavisky, enactment of the Criminal Procedure Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Senator Brisport, sorry. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 465, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport. Ayes 58, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 516, Senate Print 5036A by Senator May, enactment of the Education Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect on the 180th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 520, Assembly number 2609A by Assemblymember Hinman, enactment of the Public Health Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 541, Senate Print 1293 by Senator Parker, an act directing the Department of Public Service to prepare a written report on the affordability of utility services.
Laid aside.
Calendar number 566, Senate Print 2832A by Senator Breslin, enactment of the Penal Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 606, Senate Print 4097B by Senator Gurnardez, enactment of the Civil Service Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 612, Assembly number 6857 by Assemblymember Fall, enactment of Chapter 306 of the laws of 2011.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 663, Senate Print 5823C by Senator Mayer, enactment of the General Business Law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 679, Senate Print 3475 by Senator Stavisky, enactment of the Education Law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, the statute shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 679, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Canzone Fitzpatrick, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, Walzick, and Weber. Ayes 45, nays 14.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 682, Assembly number 5806 by Assemblymember Burdick, an act to amend Chapter 405 of the laws 2011.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 703, Assembly number 5742A by Assemblymember Slater, an act to amend the Public Officers Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 730, Assembly number 5604 by Assemblymember Magnarelli, an act to amend the Vehicle and Traffic Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day as it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 744, Assembly number 3057 by Assemblymember Cruz, an act to amend the Criminal Procedure Law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 756, Senate Print 550 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 764, Senate Print 5621B by Senator May, an act to amend the Public Officers Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of January.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 764, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Oberacker, Ort, and Walzick. Ayes 56, nays 3.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 776, Senate Print 6424B by Senator Prasad, an act to amend the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 808, Senate Print 2049 by Senator Felder, an act to amend the Education Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 823, Senate Print 6349 by Senator Breslin, an act to amend the Executive Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 60.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 827, Senate Print 543 by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the tax law and the administrative code of the City of New York.
Read the last section.
Section 13, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 827, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Helming, Martins, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Tedisco, Walzick, and Weber. Ayes 45, nays 15.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 830, Senate Print 1480 by Senator Hinchy, an act to amend the Executive Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 823, Assembly number 1510 by Assemblymember Jean Pierre, an act to establish a Black Youth Suicide Prevention Task Force.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day. It shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 833, Senate Print 2099C by Senator Harcum, an act to amend the Public Health Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 30th day. It shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 865, Senate Print 167 by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the Criminal Procedure Law.
Lay it aside.
Calendar number 867, Senate Print 1268 by Senator Ort, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 973, Assembly number 6919 by Assemblymember Thiel, an act to amend the Indian law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Senator Palumbo to explain his vote.
Mr. President, and I appreciate you allowing me to interrupt the proceedings to explain my vote. And I do appreciate this bill coming to the floor again. I thank the majority for doing it. It passed unanimously last year. It's been around for a few years to recognize the Montaukett Indian Nation. And I just want to read a little bit from the bill text because I think there's some confusion. Governor Cuomo sent this for a study a few years ago when it passed and vetoed it, saying that this situation needed to be further examined in order for the Montaukett Nation to be recognized as a new entity. But this is what's important to know. The Montaukett Indian Nation is seeking reinstatement of its recognition and acknowledgement by the state of New York. Such recognition and acknowledgement was improperly removed from the Montaukett Indian Nation in 1910 in the case of Farrow versus Benson, when the Montaukett Indian Nation was declared to be, quote, extinct. The court ruled that the tribe has disintegrated and been absorbed into the mass of citizens, and at the time of commencement of this action, there was no tribe of Montaukett Indians, close quote. This arbitrary ruling ignored earlier United States Supreme Court decisions defining Indian nations according to the criteria under which the Montaukett Indian Nation qualified as an existing sovereign tribe and giving Congress, rather than the courts, power to decide the status of an Indian. And what's important to note is this was a land dispute in, of course, Montauk, where a wealthy developer was looking to develop land. The Montaukett Nation said, this is our land, and the court improperly and quite reprehensibly, in my opinion, just said they don't exist, just stripped their status as a people, not only took their property, but took their identity. So this is a very important bill, and this was vetoed last year by the governor because I think that wasn't clear, that this isn't someone seeking to get new recognition as a nation. They just want reinstatement for what is rightfully theirs. So I'm proud to vote aye. I appreciate all of you voting as you did last year and unanimously passing this. This is very important, and I would just respectfully ask that the governor really look at this closely because this is not a new application. This is something they deserve. Thank you.
Senator Palumbo to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 982, Senate Print 1803A by Senator Ramos, an act to amend the Veteran Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 991, Senate Print 397 by Senator Clear, an act directing the Metropolitan Transportation Authority to study the transportation and housing needs of Randall's and Ward's Islands.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1003, Assembly number 4264 by Assemblymember Paulin, an act to amend the General Business Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Senator Webb to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to explain my vote. This legislation expands upon last year's chapter requiring truck stops to visibly post human trafficking informational signs or cards in its public bathrooms. This bill would require information concerning services for human trafficking victims to be posted in lactation rooms at truck stops. These informational cards and signs must only contain information concerning services for human trafficking victims and prominently include the National Human Trafficking Hotline telephone number. New York State is a major gateway state on this critical issue, and human trafficking is also a global phenomenon that generates $150 billion in annual profits. In 2021, an estimated 25 million people were trafficked. The anonymity and isolation and the opportunity for a concentration of clients in one place make truck stops ideal locations for traffickers to exploit their victims. Many victims are heavily supervised and controlled that also results in them being prevented from seeking safety and help, also additional resources without fear of retaliation. As known trafficking hubs, they are the best place to provide information about victim services. I vote aye, and I encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Webb to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Aye, 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1005, Senate Print 1836 by Senator Griffo, enactment of the highway law and the vehicle and traffic law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act take effect on the 120th day, it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ortsu, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1005, voted in the negative, Senator Skoufis. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1008, Senate Print 4085A by Senator Harkam, enactment of the highway law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ortsu, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1008, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1019, Senate Print 1737 by Senator Kruger, enactment of the Public Authorities Law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect on the 90th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ortsu, Cousins, White.
Announce the results. I'm sorry. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1019, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Councilman Fitzpatrick, Martins, Murray, O'Mara, Ort, and Walczak. Also, Senator Weber. Ayes 53, nays 8.
The bills pass. Senator Giannaris.
In the calendar to recognize Senator Thomas for a quick introduction.
Senator Thomas for the purpose of a quick introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to extend my sincere welcome to some future leaders here in this great state sitting up in the gallery today from my Senate district. Welcome to Albany Baldwin High School students. Shout out to the Baldwin School District teachers who know how important it is for young minds to understand our state government and what it means to engage with our democratic process. These students created the Youth Change Leader Collaborative in 2022 and was recognized nationally for their presentation on violence, anti-bullying, and cyberbullying awareness by Invent to Prevent, a national competition which aims to empower schools and students by challenging them to create and implement products, tools, and initiatives to target issues in their communities. Your presence here exemplifies the importance of civic participation and education, and I hope this sparks some inspiration and empowers you to stay involved in the community and help to shape your futures for the better. Mr. President, please give all the courtesies of this chamber to my young leaders, my future leaders. Thank you for being here.
To our young, now, and future leaders, we welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. Senator Giannaris.
Let's continue with the calendar.
Secretary Reed.
Calendar number 1020, Senate Print 2144 by Senator Prasad, enactment of the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ortsu, Cousins, White.
Senator Murray to explain his vote.
Mr. President, I rise to thank the sponsor of this bill, Senator Prasad. This morning, she is the chair of the Social Services Committee. I'm the ranking minority member. And this morning, we met with our Assembly counterparts in social services discussing issues like this. One of the big issues is the so-called benefits cliff, where some people, they work hard, they earn a raise, but taking that raise might push them to the point where they lose some very necessary benefits for their families. Sometimes they end up passing on the raise that they've earned. This bill addresses something similar. Folks that are trying to better themselves in their career, taking adult training classes or some sort of job training that also offers a little bit of pay, but that might push them over the edge.
and cause them to lose some very necessary benefits. If we expect people to help themselves and get off of the social services, we need to do our part and help them, and I think this bill goes a long way in doing that. So I'm proud to vote yes. I thank the sponsor. I urge my colleagues to do the same.
Senator Murray to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1040, Senate Print 6042 by Senator Parker, an act to amend the mental hygiene law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day, it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1041, Assembly number 5074 by Assembly Member Epstein, an act to amend the criminal procedure law and the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect on the 60th day, it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Kruger to explain her vote.
Thank you. So Senator Harkin's bill simply points out that when people are dealing with substance abuse or alcoholism, but they may not have a religious orientation, they ought to have the right to go to a program that does not base its premise of, I guess, support and help to be religiously based. I don't understand in a country that recognizes religious freedom, which includes the right not to be religious, that why we would want to deprive these people of something that is so fundamentally established within our Constitution. It's not stopping us from telling them they must be in a court-ordered program or that they must participate in the treatment protocols, but simply saying that they should be offered a program that does not have a religious theme to it. I don't understand no votes on this at all. I certainly vote yes. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Kruger to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1041, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Castanet Fitzpatrick, Hellman, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, and Walczak. Ayes 48, nays.
The bills passed.
Also Senator Weber. Ayes 47, nays 14.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1044, Assembly number 2147 by Assembly Member Dinowitz, enactment of the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1057, Assembly number 5862 by Assembly Member Buttington, an act to authorize Douglas Brenning of the Village of New York Mills to take the competitive civil service examination.
There is a homeroom message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1057, vote in the negative, Senator Bridgeport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1061, Senate Print 3571 by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the labor law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1064, Senate Print 6410 by Senator Ramos, an act to amend the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 9, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1067, Senate Print 349A by Senator Clear, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Laid aside.
Calendar number 1068, Senate Print 580A by Senator Hoylman Siegel, an act to amend the social services law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Hoylman Siegel to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my colleagues for their support of this legislation. As was mentioned here in recent weeks, we're not yet halfway through the calendar year, yet 17,500 people have already died from gun violence in 2023. And on average, of course, the story is grim in every state across this country. 1,000 New Yorkers annually die from gun violence. And many hospitals see a revolving door of gunshot injury, as patients who have been injured are at high risk of being
violently re-injured and are at risk of perpetrating retaliatory violence themselves as a result. In some hospitals, over 40% of patients treated for violent injuries return to the emergency room with a new violent injury within 5 years. Well, we're doing something about that with this legislation, which would allow Medicaid reimbursement for community violence prevention programs. These programs place professional social workers and trained community members in hospital emergency rooms and in communities to de-escalate conflict in real time and work with folks through their violent injury recovery, interrupting cycles of conflict with trusted communicators at the point of violent injury. It's an approach, Mr. President, that has seen enormous success in over 30 jurisdictions across at least 19 states. Here in New York, violence interruption programming has been proven to reduce community gun violence by 60%. And I'll tell you that the President of the United States himself has praised and encouraged this approach to direct Medicaid federal dollars toward these life-saving health initiatives. California, Connecticut, and Illinois have already heeded that call. With our colleagues' support today, New York State will be part of this growing movement. I vote aye, Mr. President.
Senator Harman Siegel to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1086, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Helming, O'Mara, and Ort. Ayes 57, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1069, Senate Print 887 by Senator Clear, an act to amend the elder law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect 1 year after shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1071, Assembly number 152 by Assembly Member Cruz, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect on the 60th day after shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1071, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Kansaner Fitzpatrick, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Tedisco, Walczak, and Weber. Ayes 45, nays 16.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1072, Senate Print 962 by Senator Bailey, an act to amend the Economic Development Law.
Read the last section.
Section 8, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1073, Senate Print 1051 by Senator Cooney, an act to amend the Executive Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1074, Senate Print 1755A by Senator Sanders, an act establishing a commission to determine what benefits a public bank, or public authority constituted by the state of New York can provide.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1074, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Brisport, Kansaner Fitzpatrick, Helming, Lanza, Matera, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walczak, and Weber. Also, Senator Griffo. Ayes 44, nays 17.
The bill is passed. Thank you.
Calendar number 1075, Senate Print 1815 by Senator Stavisky, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1075, voted in the negative, Senator Bridgeport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1076, Senate Print 1821 by Senator Stavisky, enact to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day, it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1077, Senate Print 1865A by Senator Brooke, enact to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect July 16, 2024.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Senator Brooke to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we're voting on yet another bill that's going to help us address the mental health crisis that exists here in New York. But within the mental health crisis, there's truly a crisis when it comes to our young people. So I want to share a few statistics that I think will bring to light exactly what we're dealing with here. Among girls, 30% say they have seriously considered attempting suicide. Double the rate among boys and up almost 60% from a decade ago. We see that almost half of our LGBTQ students said they have seriously considered a suicide attempt. These types of things are affecting our young people every single day, especially on their developing brains. So what this bill will do is take this 988 lifeline that we passed and have funded through this legislative body, but actually make sure that that information is on student ID cards for students around the state of New York, along with a crisis text line. Because it's not enough for us to be funding these lines and these help services. We actually need to make sure that young people can get this information in that moment that they find themselves in crisis. For those reasons, I vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Brooke to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1078, Senate Print 1963A by Senator Addabbo, enactment of the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1079, Senate Print 2143A by Senator Fassard, enactment of the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1079, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Canzoneri Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, Walzik, and Weber. Ayes 47, nays 14.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1080, Senate Print 2202A by Senator Thomas, enactment of the Highway Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
List to calendar 1080, voted in negative, Senator Bridgeport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 1081, Senate Print 2315 by Senator Clear, an act in relation to naming a certain state facility after Willie Mae Goody Goodman.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Senator Clear to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Willie Mae Goodman is an absolute treasure. She turned 92 years old a week ago and came to Albany to be honored as my woman of distinction. At 92 years young, she saw the Senate chamber for the first time in her life. But she was not new to grassroots advocacy. On behalf of her daughter Margaret and thousands of other children, similarly situated children born with developmental disabilities, she has made quite a mark in history. Willie Mae Goodman drew attention to the inhumane and deplorable conditions at Willowbrook State School and eventually helped close it down. Willie Mae Goodman fought for better and more empowering conditions for all those with developmental disabilities in our state, and she simply would not settle for the depravity of isolation and institutionalization. Willie Mae Goodman was instrumental in bringing lawsuits against the Department of Mental Hygiene, which led to guarantee a certain set of rights to disabled, including the paramount right to live, exist, grow, and thrive in their local communities. Today, Willie Mae's daughter, Margaret, lives in a community residence on 119th Street in Harlem, where she was raised and resided since 1991. It is highly appropriate and fitting to name this facility after the woman who fought so courageously for so many decades to ensure that the most vulnerable among us may live in peace and dignity and support. I believe it is imperative to let our community pioneers know how much we love and appreciate them when they're alive to hear our words. Thank God for Willie Mae Goodman, and may this naming ensure that her wonderful works continue for all time. I proudly vote aye.
Senator Clear to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1082, Senate Print 2355 by Senator Felder, enactment of the Family Court Act.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1084, Senate Print 3117A by Senator Mannion, enactment of the Workers' Compensation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 7, this act take effect on the 120th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1084, voted in the negative, Senator Walczak. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1085, Senate Print 3315 by Senator Sepulveda, enactment of the Surrogate Court Procedure Act.
Lay it aside.
Calendar number 1086, Senate Print 3512 by Senator May, an act in relation to authorizing Christopher Walzer to take the competitive civil service examination.
There is a homeroom message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 3, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1086, voted in the negative, Senator Bridgeport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1088, Senate Print 4407 by Senator Fernandez, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1089, Senate Print 4412B by Senator Ramos, an act to amend the alcoholic beverage control law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1090, Senate Print 4621 by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the correction law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1090, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, O'Mara, Ort, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, Walczak, and Weber. Ayes 50, nays 11.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1091, Senate Print 4674 by Senator Hoylman Siegel, enactment of the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect on the 30th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1092, Senate Print 4715A by Senator Stewart-Cousins, an act to authorize the Village of Dobbs Ferry to offer an optional 20-year retirement plan to a certain police officer.
There is a homeroom message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 3, this act take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1092, voted in the negative, Senator Bridgeport. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1093, Senate Print 4743 by Senator Webb, an act to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Senator Webb to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to explain my vote on this long time coming legislation, which would create a Black Leadership Institute within the State University of New York. I am thrilled that we were able to secure funding in our budget that we passed to implement the Black Leadership Institute within the SUNY system. This legislation codifies into statute this new initiative to support, retain, and foster Black leaders in higher education with the mission to grow within SUNY system a greater proportion of Black professionals on SUNY's campuses. Under the leadership of the Chancellor, Dr. John King, SUNY is forging ahead with its mission to be the most inclusive university system in the country. The Black Leadership Institute will ensure an investment in the success of Black leaders at SUNY and beyond. fostering an inclusive environment in which they can continue to grow as professionals and as leaders. I vote aye, and I encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Mr.
Senator
President.
Webb to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Aye, 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1094, Senate Print 4751 by Senator Skoufis, enactment of the town law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1094, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Morello, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Kennedy, Lanza, Martinez, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Scarcella, Spanton, Steck, and Tedisco. Also Senator Felder. Ayes 43, nays 18.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1095, Senate Print 4818 by Senator Gianaris, enactment of the general business law and the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 6, actually take effect on the 1st of January.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1095, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Harcum, Helming, Lanza, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, and Walzick. Ayes 43, nays 18.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1096, Senate Print 4999 by Senator Helming, enact to amend the Alcoholic Beverage Control Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1098, Senate Print 5056 by Senator Thomas, enact to amend the Financial Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1098, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Steck, Tedisco, Walzick, and Weber. Ayes 44, nays 17.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1099, Senate Print 5086 by Senator Mayer, enactment of the Public Officers Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1099, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Cancelaria Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Tedisco, and Weber. Ayes 47, nays 14.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1101, Assembly number 7429 by Assemblymember Werner, enactment chapter 455 of the laws 2011.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1101, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport. Ayes 60, nays 1. Oh, excuse me, Hoylman Siegel as well? Yes. Also, Senator Hoylman Siegel. Ayes 59, nays 2.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1102, Senate Print 5465 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 4 is act to take effect on the 90th day. It shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Jackson to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, I rise today and speak of support of my bill S-5465. Today, I stand before you to discuss a critical bill that aims to make a significant impact on the lives of caregivers in our society. The Caregiver Discrimination Act. Caregiving is an essential role that affects a substantial portion of our population. And according to the National Alliance for Caregiving, 18% of adults in the United States bear caregiving responsibilities. However, it is disheartening to note that caregiving remains undervalued in our society, leaving many caregivers without the support they desperately need. This lack of support becomes incredibly challenging when caring for aging parents or loved ones with serious illness or disabilities. One of the major hurdles caregivers find is the balancing act between caregiving and work. The strain of managing both responsibilities simultaneously often leads to lasting economic consequences. Sadly, this burden falls disproportionately on women, and over 75% of all caregivers are women, and reported by the Institute of Aging. Regrettably, caregiving is also susceptible to workplace discrimination. They may be unjustly passed over for promotion or denied opportunities simply because assumptions that they will not be able to handle more demanding role while caring for their elderly parents or loved one. This is not only unfair, but also perpetuates inequality and hampers the economic progress of caregivers. The bill before us is a crucial step towards rectifying this situation. If passed, it will ensure that caregivers are provided equal opportunities in the workplace and prohibit discrimination based on a caregiver's status, including the refusal to provide reasonable accommodations in specific circumstances. By enacting this bill, we send a clear message. Caregivers deserve respect, recognition, and fair treatment. We recognize that invaluable role they play in our society and sacrifices they make every single day. It is our duty to ensure that they have equal access to employment opportunities and are not penalized for fulfilling their caregiving responsibilities. In conclusion, my colleagues, I urge all of you to support this bill. Let us come together to champion caregivers' rights, reduce workplace discrimination, and build a more inclusive society. By doing so, we take significant stride forward towards a fairer and more compassionate future for all of us. Thank you.
Senator Jackson to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator May to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my colleague, Senator Jackson, for this bill and my colleagues for supporting it. When I was chair of the Committee on Aging, I met frequently with family caregivers who were making enormous sacrifices, often spending a lot of their own money to create the conditions for their loved ones to thrive in their homes. And if their employers were discriminating against them, that was just adding insult to injury. We are at a moment right now when the Congress is considering adding work requirements for SNAP benefits for many people who may be unemployed because they are caregivers. And we've got to make it easier for them to find work if this draconian requirement is going to be applied. But even if it's not, we need them to be able to work if that's what they want to do. And so I feel like this is just a matter of basic fairness, but also supporting those who need the care and supporting our entire economy because family caregivers save us billions of dollars in medical expenses every year. So I proudly support this bill. Thank you.
Senator May to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
List calendar 1102. Those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Lanza, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Steck, and Walczak. Ayes 54, nays 7.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1103, Senate Print 5505 by Senator Scarcella Stanton, enactment of the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Scarcella Stanton to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my colleagues for your support in helping pass this bill, which will help keep New Yorkers feeling safer. This legislation redefines the term following for a crime of stalking in the 4th degree to include the use of certain devices or computers to gain access to, record, track, or report the movement or location of a person or their property without the person's permission to do so. With technology developing rapidly, our current laws do not account for the various new ways that predators can now stalk individuals. From Apple tags to Find My iPhone, there are countless ways that a person can find your location, and this legislation aims to combat this by updating the parameters of how we define stalking in New York State. For far too long, victims have lived in a constant state of fear of someone accessing their location through technology, with no avenue for recourse. By broadening the definition, we send a clear message that technology-assisted stalking is just as damaging to victims' mental and emotional well-being as traditional forms of stalking. By passing this today, we are taking a crucial step toward keeping our constituents feeling safer in an increasingly interconnected world. Thank you, and I proudly vote aye and encourage my colleagues to do so as well.
Senator Scarcella Stanton to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1105, Senate Print 5733 by Senator Borrello, an act to authorize the Board of Education of the Salamanca City School District to establish a federal impact aid reserve fund.
Read the last section.
Section 4, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1107, Assembly number 6101 by Assemblymember Levenberg, enactment of the Village Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
In relation to calendar 1107, voted in the negative, Senator Skoufis. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1108, Senate Print 5932 by Senator Harcum, enactment of the Vehicle and Traffic Law.
There is a home rule message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 2, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1108, voted in the negative, Senator Skoufis. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1110, Senate Print 6150A by Senator Cooney, an act in relation to authorizing the town of Henrietta, county of Monroe, to alienate certain lands as parkland.
Read the last section.
Section 8, the section take effect immediately.
Oh, excuse me, there's a home rule message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 8, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1115, Senate Print 6550 by Senator Mayer, enactment of the Vehicle and Traffic Law.
Bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 1148, Assembly number 6822 by Assemblymember Sturpey, enactment amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1148, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Brisport, Holman Siegel, Martinez, and May. Ayes 57, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1163, Assembly number 7433 by Assemblymember Ickes, enact to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, Right.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1172, Senate Print 5724 by Senator Kennedy, enactment of the Highway Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the section take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1178, Senate Print 1965 by Senator Addabbo, an act to amend the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act to take effect on the 1st of January.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1192, Senate Print 7157 by Senator Breslin, an act to amend Chapter 490 of the laws of 2017.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act to take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 1193, Senate Print 7189 by Senator Breslin, an act to amend the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 8, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill is passed. Senator Janaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Mr. President, I believe there's a report of the Rules Committee at the desk. Can we take that up at this time?
The Secretary will read.
Senator Stuart Cousins from the Committee on Rules reports the following bills. Senate Print 477 by Senator Kruger, concurrent resolution of the Senate and Assembly concerning the rescission of all previous requests by the New York State Legislature. Senate Print 520A by Senator Comrie, an act to amend the General Municipal Law. Senate Print 2339 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the Social Services Law. Senate Print 2713 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Senate Print 2727A by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the Not-for-Profit Corporation Law. Senate Print 3009 by Senator Ryan, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Senate Print 3146 by Senator Mannion, an act to amend the Social Services Law and the Public Health Law. Senate Print 3492 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the Retirement and Social Security Law. Senate Print 4314A by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the Agricultural Markets Law. Senate Print 4564B by Senator Gallivan, an act to amend the Highway Law. Senate Print 4811B by Senator Gurnardes, an act to amend the General Municipal Law. Senate Print 4858 by Senator Hinchy, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Senate Print 4879 by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Penal Law. Senate Print 4972 by Senator Gurnardes, an act to amend the Retirement and Social Security Law. Senate Print 5057A by Senator Hinchy, an act to allow Benjamin Doty to be eligible to take the civil service examination. Senate Print 5329A by Senator Harcum, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Senate Print 5536 by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the Retirement and Social Security Law. Senate Print 5605 by Senator Webb, an act to authorize the City of Binghamton to offer an optional 25-year retirement plan to firefighter Scott Pavlik. Senate Print 5607A by Senator Breslin, an act providing for a taxpayer assistance authorization. Senate Print 5900 by Senator Brisport, an act to establish a task force to identify evidence-based and evidence-informed solutions. Senate Print 6102 by Senator Martinez, an act to amend Chapter 643 of the laws of 2019. Senate Print 6122 by Senator Martinez, an act to amend Chapter 130 of the laws of 1998. Senate Print 6167 by Senator Murray, an act to amend Chapter 47 of the laws of 1963. Senate Print 6173A by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the election law. Senate Print 6209 by Senator May, an act to amend the City of Syracuse and the Board of Education in relation to construction and design contracts entered into by the JCS Board. Senate Print 6426 by Senator Kenzari Fitzpatrick, an act authorizing Vineyard Christian Fellowship, South Shore Incorporated, to file with the County of Nassau Assessor an application for a retroactive real property tax exemption. Senate Print 6432A by Senator Martins, an act in relation to authorizing the County of Nassau Assessor to accept an application for a real property tax exemption. Senate Print 6521 by Senator Thomas, an act to amend the Public Health Law. Senate Print 6538 by Senator Harcum, an act to amend Chapter 329 of the laws of 2009. Senate Print 6549 by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Local Finance Law. Senate Print 6564 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the Local Finance Law. Senate Print 6596 by Senator Prasad, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law. Senate Print 6632 by Senator May, an act to amend the Vehicle and Traffic Law. Senate Print 6682A by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend Chapter 544 of the laws of 2022. Senate Print 6750 by Senator Chu, an act to amend the Private Housing Finance Law. Senate Print 6764 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend Chapter 756 of the law of 2021. Senate Print 6788 by Senator Hellman, an act granting a retroactive membership in the New York State local employees retirement system to Justin Whitmore. Senate Print 6793 by Senator Martins, an act to amend the Nassau County Civil Divisions Act. Senate Print 6802A by Senator Breslin, an act to amend the Vehicle and Traffic Law. Senate Print 6861 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the Education Law. Senate Print 6876 by Senator Steck, an act to amend the Public Authorities Law. Senate Print 6885A by Senator Martins, an act in relation to authorizing the North Shore Land Alliance Incorporated to file with the County of Nassau and Nassau Assessor an application for a retroactive real property tax exemption. Senate Print 6901 by Senator Breslin, an act to amend the tax law. Senate Print 6940 by Senator Martinez, an act to amend the local finance law. Senate Print 6941 by Senator Cooney, an act to amend the state finance law. Senate Print 6942 by Senator Cooney, an act to amend the state finance law. Senate Print 6943 by Senator Kavanaugh, an act to amend Chapter 514 of the laws of 1983. Senate Print 6945 by Senator Prasad, an act to amend Chapter 81 of the laws of 1985. Senate Print 7026 by Senator Stewart Cousins, an act to amend the vehicle and traffic law. Senate Print 7065 by Senator Ryan, an act to amend Chapter 581 of the laws of 2005. Senate Print 7066 by Senator Ryan, an act to amend Chapter 492 of the laws of 1993. Senate Print 7067 by Senator Ryan, an act to amend Chapter 629 of the laws of 2005. Senate Print 768 by Senator Ryan, an act to amend Chapter 307 of the laws of 2005. Senate Print 7080 by Senator Martinez, an act to amend Chapter 719 of the laws of 1980. Senate Print 7091 by Senator Ramos, an act to amend Chapter 413 of the laws of 2003. Senate Print 7094 by Senator Mannion, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7116 by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the local finance law. Senate Print 7205 by Senator Comrie, an act to amend the penal law. Senate Print 7353 by Senator Brisport, an act to amend the education law. Senate Print 7354 by Senator Hinchy, an act to amend the cannabis law. Senate Print 7361 by Senator Thomas, an act to amend the real property tax law. Senate Print 7363A by Senator Cooney, an act to amend Part 10 of Chapter 62 of the laws of 2003. Senate Print 7370 by Senator Scarcella Spanton, an act to amend Chapter 413 of the laws of 2015. Senate Print 7371 by Senator Sanders, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7372 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the administrative code of the city of New York. Senate Print 7373 by Senator Salazar, an act to amend Chapter 73 of the laws of 2011. Senate Print 7374 by Senator Scarcella Spanton, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7375 by Senator Salazar, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7376 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the civil service law. Senate Print 7377 by Senator Scarcella Spanton, an act to amend the environmental conservation law. Senate Print 7378 by Senator Scarcella Spanton, an act to amend the civil service law. Senate Print 7379 by Senator Webb, an act to amend the general construction law. Senate Print 7381 by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7382 by Senator Hoylman Siegel, an act to amend the executive law. Senate Print 7383 by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the New York City Charter. Senate Print 7393 by Senator Stewart Cousins, an act to amend Chapter 372 of the laws of 2020. Senate Print 7400 by Senator Gernardes, an act to amend the real property tax law. Senate Print 7430 by Senator Walczak, an act to amend Chapter 326 of the laws of 2006. Senate Print 7445 by Senator Bailey, an act to amend the criminal procedure law. Senate Print 7446 by Senator Salazar, an act to amend the Family Court Act. Senate Print 7447 by Senator Prasad, an act to amend the Family Court Act and the Social Services Law. Senate Print 7448 by Senator Brisport, an act to amend the Social Services Law. Senate Print 7449 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the Public Authorities Law. Senate Print 7450 by Senator Mannion, an act to amend the Mental Hygiene Law. Senate Print 7451 by Senator Prasad, an act to amend the Social Services Law. Senate Print 7453 by Senator Addabbo, an act to amend the Penal Law. Senate Print 7457 by Senator Harkin, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law. Senate Print 7458 by Senator Harkin, an act to amend Chapter 550 of the laws of 2013. Senate Print 7460 by Senator Palumbo, an act to amend Chapter 438 of the laws of 2022. All bills report directed to third reading.
Move to accept the report of the Rules Committee.
All those in favor of accepting the report of the Rules Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The report of the Rules Committee is accepted. Senator Gianaris.
Let's move on to the controversial calendar.
Secretary, ring the bell. Secretary Reed.
Let's look at that.
Calendar number 541, Senate Print 1293 by Senator Parker, an act directing the Department of Public Service to prepare a written report on the affordability of utility services.
Senator Lanza, why do you rise?
Mr. President, I believe there's an amendment at the desk. I waive the reading of that amendment and ask that you recognize Senator Walczak.
Thank you, Senator Lanza. Upon review of the amendment, in accordance with Rule 6, Section 4B, I rule a non-germane out of order at this time.
Accordingly, Mr. President, I appeal the ruling of the chair and ask that Senator Walczak be heard on the appeal.
The appeal has been made and recognized, and Senator Walczak may be heard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know that was a pretty quick read for you on the amendment that was at the desk, so perhaps I could just explain a little bit more why this is so germane to the bill today. This amendment is germane to the bill in chief because it both deals with conducting studies, both bills deal with conducting studies having to do with the COVID-19 impact in the state of New York. This amendment would require the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services to conduct an after-action review of New York State's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. This study will be helpful in determining how the state can better respond to the next pandemic. Whether it was the nursing home directive or the decision to shut down schools for extended periods of time, the citizens of the state deserve to know why decisions were made and the effects those decisions have on the people of the state of New York. It is only through learning from our past mistakes that we will be better able to plan for the future. Instead of asking ratepayers through the PSC to pay for a study specifically on electricity and the grid and the impact on ratepayers throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, one very narrow thing that this bill does, it's time for us to have an honest conversation about what went right and especially what went wrong, where New York State lied to citizens and where New York State made honest mistakes in front of citizens that need to be improved on in the future. So, Mr. President, I respectfully request and to all senators to support this amendment to provide a full accounting of the state's response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Senator Walczak. I want to remind the House that this vote is on the procedures of the House and the ruling of the chair. Those in favor of overruling the chair signify by saying aye.
Request a show of hands.
Show of hands has been requested and so ordered. Announce the results.
Ayes 20.
The ruling of the chair stands and the bill in chief is before the House. Senator Gianaris.
To return this to the non-controversial calendar.
Return the bill to the non-controversial calendar. Secretary will read. Read the last section.
Section 4, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 541, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Canzoneri, Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Hellman, Lanza, Obracker, O'Mara, Ort, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, Walczak, and Weber. Ayes 47, nays 14.
The bill is passed. Secretary, ring the bell. Secretary will read.
Calendar number 865, Senate Print 167 by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Senator Lanza, why do you rise?
Mr. President, I believe there's an amendment at the desk. I waive the reading of that amendment and ask that you recognize Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Senator Lanza. Upon review of the amendment in accordance with Rule 6, Section 4B, I rule it non-germane out of order at this time.
Accordingly, Mr. President, I appeal the ruling of the chair and ask that Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick be heard on the appeal.
The appeal has been made and recognized, and Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick may be heard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to appeal the ruling of the chair. The proposed amendment is germane to the bill at hand because both the amendment and the bill in chief deal with safety and the well-being of the residents of our state. It is our duty as legislators to look out for all New Yorkers. This means considering public safety needs in our state, as well as the needs of the most vulnerable populations, such as those impacted by mental illness. It is unfortunate that the current state of our mental hygiene laws has allowed thousands of individuals who require more stringent mental health protocols for treatment to go without the appropriate oversight to ensure that their treatment is pursued. This has resulted in severe behavioral transgression to include a large increase in homelessness, criminal behavior, drug use, and alcoholism. All too often, we are seeing unsuspecting individuals or the patients themselves killed or injured as the result of the violent behavior by patients who have either disregarded or rejected available or mandated health services due to their deteriorating mental health state. Outpatient commitment is the preferred mode of treatment for many patients seeking mental health services. However, we are at a time where judicial intervention to seek immediate mandated treatment through court-ordered inpatient treatment is necessary to prevent ongoing negative behavioral episodes that end up placing the patient or the public at risk of physical injury or death. The assisted outpatient treatment framework under Kendra's law allows for those with a history of serious mental illness to seek treatment while still being part of their communities. This framework has been successful in a number of ways. Recipients of treatment are shown to engage in less future violence. The program does not increase the stigma of mental illness as it integrates those with mental illness into their communities. And finally, studies show that the framework is non-discriminatory and applied equally throughout the state. Let us figure out what is not working and create legislation that remedies the issue. One way to do that is to strengthen our mental health institutions, professionals' abilities, and the resources to help people who need it most through Kendra's law. Let us make this law permanent. We hold the power to make New York safer. We hold the power to look out for our most vulnerable populations. All we have to do is come up to the table and make the changes. This amendment would do that. For those reasons, Mr. President, I strongly urge you to reconsider your ruling. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick. I want to remind the House that the vote is on the procedures of the House and the ruling of the chair. Those in favor of overruling the chair signify by saying aye.
Aye. Request a show of hands.
Show of hands has been requested and so ordered. Announce the results.
Ayes 20.
The ruling of the chair stands and the bill in chief is before the House. Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick, why do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I was wondering if the sponsor would yield for a few questions.
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes,
the sponsor
I will.
yields.
Thank you, Senator Gianaris. Through you, Mr. President, I would like to ask if the current law allows an individual to make a citizen's arrest and that the law requires that they use physical force only if it is justifiable. Is that interpretation correct of the current law?
I suppose it depends what you mean by justifiable. The current law allows someone who reasonably believes that somebody snatched a purse, for example, and is running away, to kill that person, which is obviously absurd. But that is what the law provides, and that is what we're attempting to repeal to stop those crazy possibilities from existing.
Through you, Mr. President, is the sponsor suggesting that—
Senator, are you asking the sponsor to yield?
Yes. Will the sponsor yield?
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes.
Sponsor yields.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. President, is the sponsor suggesting that a purse snatcher, that the use of deadly force is appropriate for snatching a purse?
No, that is why I'm trying to repeal the existing law, which would permit that.
Through you, Mr. President, will the sponsor continue to yield?
Will the sponsor yield? Yes. The sponsor yields.
Thank you, Mr. President. And under the current law, a person is allowed to use force to effect an arrest or prevent escape if they believe that there has been a crime committed. Is that correct?
The law says they have to reasonably believe a crime is committed, and in fact the crime was committed, which also presents some strange legal possibilities.
Through you, Mr. President, will the sponsor continue to yield?
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes.
The sponsor yields.
So I would like to share a story about a personal situation I found myself in. During college, I worked as a bank teller to support myself. During one of the times I was working, and this was the late 80s, there was not a lot of security provided. A gentleman came in and said that he was holding up the bank. A gentleman reached over the counter. He was quite tall and able to reach me. And at the time, there was a gentleman, another customer, that prevented this potential burglar from stopping the fact that he was actually able to steal money. He wrestled him to the ground and detained him until the police arrived. No theft had occurred. No robbery had occurred because no money was actually turned over. My interpretation of the current law is that because a crime was not committed, that this intervener who stopped this person would in fact potentially face criminal charges for acting the way he did. And I would like to know if the sponsor agrees that in the fact pattern I've just presented, if the intervener could potentially face criminal charges under the current statute, the current bill.
Respectfully, I think my colleague is conflating and confusing two different areas of the law. The penal law in section 3505 sub 2 and 3510 sub 6 provides when someone can intervene or use force to protect someone else or prevent a crime from occurring. That has nothing to do with the citizens arrest laws, which are contained in 3530 of the penal law, which says that after the crime has been committed, they can take certain action to detain the person or use deadly force against them, depending on what may have happened. In fact, in answer to your previous question, I pointed out that the current law requires that the crime actually have been committed. So it's the citizens arrest laws that would have no application in the example you used, but there are other provisions of law which would protect someone who intervened to prevent harm from coming to you or a theft from occurring.
Thank you. On the bill, Mr. President.
Senator Canzanevi Fitzpatrick on the bill.
Thank you, Senator Gianaris, for engaging in this discussion. While I understand that there may be very technical things that are at play here, my interpretation of this law is that it's going to chill the effect of citizens getting involved to protect other citizens. It's going to chill the effect of our good Samaritans that intervene when they need to assist us. And I don't believe that this bill is going to achieve the goal that has been laid out. I do think that we have done so many things to protect the, we need to do more to protect victims is really what I'd like to say. And I don't think that this bill will do that. So for those reasons, Mr. President, I'll be voting against it. Thank you.
Senator Borrello, why do you rise?
Mr. President, will the sponsor yield for a question?
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes, I will.
The sponsor yields.
Through you, Mr. President. So I do have some concerns with this bill, but I do have a question. I'll use myself as an example in a somewhat similar situation. So in our businesses, our establishments, on busy days, we use private paid security, many of whom are armed. My question is, if a paid licensed security guard in New York State, you actually have to be trained and licensed as a security guard. If we had an incident where someone assaults another person, steals a purse, something, and that licensed security guard witnesses that incident, would they be allowed to detain that person under this law?
It's my understanding, Mr. President, that there are separate provisions of law having nothing to do with this one that deal with the responsibilities and potential liabilities of people acting in private security. This very simply relates to any private person throughout this state and what they are permitted and authorized to do. So I don't think the example you're using has application here.
Mr. President, sponsor continue to yield?
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes.
The sponsor yields.
Well, it's my understanding, and this is a genuine question I don't know the answer to, it's my understanding that in a private security situation, store security, that they are actually using the citizens arrest laws in order to detain those that have committed a crime. That's the authorization under which they are able to detain someone lawfully. Can we address that?
First of all, that's not my understanding, so I don't think your premise is correct. I will also point out that the bill continues to allow someone to use physical force upon another person when they have reason to believe a felony has been committed or a felony was in fact committed to prevent their escape. Okay, so that is still allowed. I don't think a private security person is operating under that section of law anyway. I think there are other provisions of law that permit them to do what they do, including detaining people on site. But even under this law, a private person will still be able to do that.
Mr. President, sponsor continue to yield?
Will the sponsor yield?
Yes.
The sponsor yields.
So thank you for that clarification. It says if a felony has been committed. I mean, does this mean that a private citizen will need to be expert on what is a felony versus a misdemeanor? And what if, in the end, that person was charged and was, pled down to a misdemeanor that was originally a felony?
First of all, the absurdity of the current law requires a private person to actually know if a felony or an offense of any kind was in fact committed or not. We have an entire criminal legal system designed to figure that out with a jury of one's peers and a prosecution and a defense. And the law currently authorizes any person in the state of New York to make that determination on their own and use physical force as a result. So what we're trying to do is narrow that application to at least, because we do want people to have the ability to intervene in a case where someone has committed a felony. Now, if the actions committed a felony and someone pled down to something else, I don't think that has any application to what we're doing here.
Mr. President, on the bill.
Senator Borrello, on the bill.
Senator Gianaris, thank you for the answers. I think in general this does create a situation where people are going to question whether or not they can act as a good Samaritan. And that's really the problem here. This is taking a long-standing law, changing it, and potentially putting someone in a libelous situation, criminally potentially. So I think making this change, whether or not there are good intentions here, ultimately could lead to what would be a tragic situation where someone who was on the scene when a crime is committed may wish to intervene and then hesitates because of this change to the law. So I'll also be voting no. Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any other senators wishing to be heard? Seeing and hearing none, debate is closed. The Secretary will ring the bell. Read the last section.
Section 5, the statute will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Gianaris to explain his vote.
Mr. President, I just want to take a moment and point out the absurdity that my colleagues who are concerned about this law are using. So there are laws that protect people from intervening. I made that clear. There are other sections of law. The argument my colleagues are making is that we have to allow people to go way beyond that just to make sure they feel comfortable intervening. So we have to allow people to have the power to kill somebody because someone who committed a robbery is escaping. That is what the current law provides. Somebody, grabs a purse off a woman's shoulder or a man's shoulder, is running down the street. Senator Borrello has a legal firearm or some other weapon at his disposal. He is empowered by law to kill that person, shoot them in the back to prevent their escape. That's what the law currently says. You all want to allow that to make sure that someone feels comfortable intervening to prevent a crime, because that person is supposed to say to themselves, oh, I'm not allowed to do that, therefore I'm not going to help somebody else who's possibly facing a criminal act. It's nuts. No less than the Heritage Foundation, who I suspect might be more of an authority to my colleagues across the aisle than to me, 2 years ago was talking about, in defense of citizens' arrest laws, which I don't agree with, obviously. But their justification was, in a nation where most police departments employ fewer than 10 officers, the ability of private citizens to detain criminals plays an important role in law enforcement. That is not the situation we're dealing with in New York, my friends. New York City has over 30,000 police officers to do this job. We don't need to empower almost 20 million people to act on their own. And we know the consequences when that happens. No less than the state of Georgia repealed their citizens' arrest laws. Why? Because two racists who thought they were preventing a crime killed someone who was jogging through a white neighborhood. And the state of Georgia, with the Republican governor, repealed their citizens' arrest laws after that experience. In the state of New York, we shouldn't be sitting here defending these anachronistic laws that existed in places where there were no police, or very little police. We don't have that situation anymore here in the 21st century. Mr. President, I vote yes. I thank my colleagues for supporting this bill.
Senator Gianaris, he will be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Rhodes to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think part of the issue, Senator Gianaris, is that your alternative is that individual just gets away scot-free. We would certainly agree with the fact that if somebody steals a purse, you shouldn't be able to shoot them in the back. But they also shouldn't be able to get away scot-free, which is the alternative that you're presenting. I think what we're suggesting is, well, I mean, essentially, unless it's a felony, they can't intervene. But Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. The point is that there has to be some sort of middle ground. No one wants a situation like the one that Senator Gianaris is referencing. No one also believes that, that people, I don't think, people believe that no crime, unless it's a felony, do citizens have the right to be able to intervene to stop the flight of someone. What we need is something where the effort to intervene is commensurate with the threat that they present. There seems to be a very easy fix to this. I don't believe that, that the fix is what's presented by the sponsor. That's why I will be voting no, Mr. President, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Rhodes to be recorded in the negative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 865, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Cancelliere Fitzpatrick, Felder, Gallivan, Griffo, Hellman, Lanza, Martinez, Matera, Murray, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Rollison, Scarcella-Spanton, Steck, Tedisco, Walzik, and Weber. Ayes 40, nays 21.
And the bill is passed. Senator Gianaris.
President, at this point, we're going to lay aside for the day the two remaining bills on the controversial calendar, Calendar 1067 and 1085.
The remaining bills will be laid aside for the day.
I also have a motion here on page 44. I offer the following amendments to Calendar 790, Senate Print 2483, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and the bill will retain its place in the third reading calendar.
Please recognize Senator Lanza.
Senator Lanza.
Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Steck, on page 39, I offer the following amendments to calendar number 701, Senate Print number 5608A, and ask that said bill retain its place on third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and the bill will retain its place in the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the
I
desk.
move to adjourn until tomorrow, Wednesday, May 31st at 3 p.m.
On motion, the Senate will stand adjourned until Wednesday, May 31st at 3 p.m.